Yes, y'all, we are back, man, in our locations, man. And if you watching on the screen, you might see something a little
Hey,
something nice in my man Zyra's background.
little glimpse of the future, maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, little glimpse of the future, man. That joint looking real nice. I ain't gonna lie. The closer it gets to them, talking more and more about the new stadium, the more semi excited I'm getting. I ain't there all the way yet.
Nah. Every time they come out with a new rendering, I'm ready to run through a wall.
I hear that.
Cause
I
I'm
hear
like, yo, listen, I feel like they actually might do this right for once.
They might. It's gonna take some work because I look at all that stuff and I'm just like, bro, the hard work that they gotta put in for this shit to
I'm
really
like, bro, y'all got 3 years.
that's crazy. They got 3 years, but if you think about that work though, like
Mhm.
I'm tipping my hat to all them motherfuckers already because I'm just like,
Non-stop
that's gonna be nonstop motherfuckers coming together. And you got to think about all the bad weather we getting shit too. Like,
working through it. Yo, did they ever say what they're gonna do with the current stadium?
nah, they didn't say.
'Cause I'm curious. Cause
I,
like they
I like
gonna
to
knock it
I'll
down.
not be there, but I like to see it when they blow it up because I'm pretty sure they gotta like demolish the shit.
Yeah, I mean, hell, damn, half the stadium underground. Maybe not half, but
Might have to get some of that turf, put it in the basement. You know what I mean?
let me get some of them seats, and that's what I want. Them
Right.
uncomfortable ass
That
bleachers. Come
too.
on, fam.
Need my row 11 seat one or whatever that shit is. But
Yeah.
anyway, y'all, listen, man, we back for another week, man. This is officially what week three of
Season 2, week 3, we back.
yeah, season two, week three, episode three, week three of free agency, all of that. We starting to get into that draft period. I mean, I know April 1st is when we officially hit draft mode because you got
Right.
27 days after that.
Yeah, but we a month away now.
Yeah, we're officially a month away, man,
We,
for
we are officially in mock draft season right now.
mock draft. And I did my first one the other
Oh,
day.
did you? See, I haven't done one yet.
I didn't post it because I'm just like, I'm gonna wait because it ain't the site that I normally use. Like it was another site. So I'm like, let me compare once the one site I use officially go up. I may call that one my first mock, the Vel Kuiper 1.0.
Ah,
But yeah, I'm starting to get into that mode, man. I sat down the other day, man, and I got the notepad over here. I did my top prospects of the
huh?
linebackers, the wide receivers. Wrote down a few other key positions that I'll be looking at over the week. But yeah, man. So I mean, as we shift gears, I don't want to leave free agency behind. We had a couple bold predictions. I'll give you credit with the O line piece, man. We did pick up a veteran O lineman. I think within 48 hours after we recorded.
Yep,
Um,
yep.
yeah,
We two for two, baby.
we got one from the Rams. That was a solid addition. You know what I mean? I always say anytime we add experience,
Exactly. Especially on the O line.
yeah, experience and size are the two things I'm interested in. And obviously all the other stuff like athleticism, how are they in pass protection? How are they, against the run if they're a guard, or whatever. So I'm glad to see that we've been able to do some small stuff on offensive line. Nothing dramatic,
Yeah,
but
but enough that it's not a hole anymore. Like if
right,
they
yeah,
rolled out those 9, 10 linemen for the season, they fine. Like there's
yeah,
no glaring hole. I mean, there's room for an upgrade at tackle,
right.
but I mean, if you roll out with these five, you're not hurting, in my opinion.
Right. And I think that's the main thing is that you want to make sure at least you have a rotation of 5 to 8 guys that you can go into training camp with and spring camp.
Yeah,
Uh,
but their interior depth is
it's solid.
solid.
And
Yeah, super solid.
you still got my man Ike Bucker, who's
Hmm.
still, as tough as nails. And of course you got Ryan Bates. And then you got the two guys from Dallas, the one from the Rams.
Hmm.
Um, I'm probably missing somebody. I think Saffold is what? He's still a free agent, right?
Yeah, I don't. If he come back, it's strictly depth
But that's
at
what I'm
this
saying.
point.
He's like a free agent. You see, he ain't even getting no buzz. This is going on week three. That's how you know he had a down year for him.
Yeah, I mean he getting old too. He definitely ain't put great play on tape last year.
Agreed. And I think that's the tough part for him. And I think he's probably feeling that right now. It's like,
Mhm.
damn, like, did I really put together that mid of a season where I can't even get a phone call from the Browns? I can't get a phone call from the Jag. Like,
I mean, he's not a first wave free agent, but I mean, he'll be signed after the draft or right before the draft once
yeah,
the roster starts to
maybe something
shake
like
up a
that.
little bit.
Right, right. And like I said, this is that time period where you clean up with a couple small signings and you just kind of fine tune a few things before you get into the draft.
Yeah,
And
'cause if I'm a player at this point, I'm a free agent. I'm gonna just ride it out till after the draft because at that point, I feel like options open up.
yeah,
Players gonna get cut. Some gonna open up. Somebody not gonna fill a hole they thought they was gonna fill. So
yeah,
we're gonna ride this out.
that's a fact. That's a fact. So I mean, before we get to what we may be looking for, for the first or second round of the draft as far as players, out of the latest wave of additions, I think they only added they added officially two and then re-signed a couple more guys like Queensbury and shit like that. So, um, um, how do you feel about those moves as a whole? I mean, the safety to me is one that caught my eye because from what I heard, he was a guy that they looked at to replace Poyer. Now you're able to get Rap as a guy who can be your third safety. You can even throw him in the field sometimes if you want to go with a three safety look like they've done before with Saran Neal. You can even, obviously throw him in on special teams. But from everything I've heard about the guy, this dude is a solid tackler. He got good range. He is experienced because now he's been in the league I think 4 years as mainly a starter. So now you just basically got three starting safeties, and you got more insurance than you had last year. Like last year, our insurance was, well, let's hope one of our fourth or fifth round picks is able to come in there, Jaquan Johnson or Demar, and do what they got to do. And Demar didn't do a horrible job. Jaquan was up and down, but at least this guy, Rap, we know he done started playoff games. We know he done I believe have done a 16 game season starting at his position, and he's a former second round pick. So, so how do you feel about their last few signings as we get into draft mode?
I mean, I feel like rap in particular. I mean, that just adds a bunch of versatility. I mean, it's only a 1 year deal, but I feel like this has the potential to be, a long term replacement. I mean, both of our safeties 30 plus.
Right,
This could be a chance to get your feet wet in defense. If he likes to build, the Bills like him. He could be a nice in house replacement for a long term safety standpoint. But even this season alone, like you said, it could be a nice opportunity for, some three safety look. You run to a dime package, you bring him down. I mean, from what I hear, he can play down at the line in the box, he can play back center field. So
right,
like it gives some flexibility. And at the end of the day, like I said, both our safeties been beat up. So even
yeah,
if they need a instead of they playing 100% of the snaps, drop it down to 80,
right,
85, and let Rap hop in there and, take some of the wear and tear off of them,
right.
without seeing a major drop off. So, from that standpoint, that adds some much needed depth because outside of him, we would just had just Demar, which, right now is still a question mark, and
Right.
maybe Benford, maybe Cam Lewis, but like no
Right.
real true safety.
Yeah,
So,
but they needed a true
oh
safety,
yeah, 100%.
and I think that to me was the best thing that I got from it was that you knew at some point you were going to need to address safety with experience. Like they
Hmm.
could still go safety in the draft on day 2 or day 3, but now you can take a deep breath more and say, okay, now there's no real pressure.
It's no desperation.
Yeah, on day 2, because I knew they weren't going to do it on day 1, but on day 2, you don't have to be like, oh, we need to get one in the second or third round as a replacement. Like, no, now you can, hey, if somebody drop in your lap, in round 5 or 6, then it is what it is. But now it's like, if we do, we do. If we don't, we don't. Because now you got 3 starting caliber, 2 all pros. Like you said, you still can throw Benford in there if he wants to learn the position. Cam Lewis if he wants to grow more into the strong safety position. Um, and whoever else might be in the mix by then, because they still got about 25 spots to fill. So there's still gonna be a couple more names that we ain't 100% aware of that they'll add, just so that they have some pieces going into camp. So cool. That was one good pickup that I got. The other thing, there was one other thing I wanted to talk about as far as free agency goes before we move forward. But um, where's your confidence at with the whole grabbing a playmaker in free agency? Because I know I kind of went up and down, but as of the last 24 hours, I'm more down and up on it. I'm more thinking really pick 27 or second round. But where you at with the confidence on us getting, either a D Hop or a OBJ? Where you feeling?
I mean, to me, where we get one, it doesn't matter whether it is Hopkins, whether it is OBJ, whether it's a first round or a day two receiver. I just need someone else in that room. If it is Hopkins or another proven player like him, I'm fine with that as long as the return isn't too much. I'm probably fine up to a third round pick, 3rd and 5. I'm cool with that. I'm not losing any sleep over something like that.
Right,
But anything more than that, I probably don't want it because I'm already bringing in a sizable contract to go with it. But
right,
you know, he would look great in this offense. I mean, someone of that talent and that skill set with those hands, that route running ability, that leadership, that experience
right,
to be lined up across some digs, that's the type of stuff they give, secondary nightmares.
right,
Because I mean, you telling me D Hop is the second option?
right,
So I mean, it would definitely be an amazing fit in my opinion. But again, it's a lot of moving parts. I mean, you got to get the compensation right. You got to get the contract situation worked out because we already strapped to the cap.
right.
Uh, Same thing with Odell. I mean, I'm not sure if he's looking for something long term. So if he's looking just for a 1 year deal, I mean, that's just straight cap hit for the most part. So,
Right.
how do you massage that in? But again, he still has a skill set that'll fit good into this offense. I'm nervous about the draft again, just because being in that first round late again. I'm nervous about the team or the draft in general going on another run of receivers like they did last year. Just the board didn't fall for a first hell or a second round receiver. So,
Right.
are we gonna have to move up to get one? But either way, by the time draft ends, I need one of these vets on the team, or I need a day one or day two receiver added to the mix.
Yeah, yeah. I think, like I said, overall, I'll say I'm not really too stressed. I just feel like my confidence of getting a free agent, big time wide receiver is going down. But I do think that the closer and closer we get to the draft, it's definitely more likely we pass on this whole D Hop OBJ situation, because it's looking like OBJ might have a chance to go to the Jets, which, hey, if you get him and y'all want a crowded wide receiver room, knock yourself out. But I honestly feel like with their young receivers, the best thing they can kind of do is allow some of those young guys to blossom. But I mean, I can see OBJ working with Aaron Rodgers and with that coaching staff, because I'm pretty sure they'll figure it out. But for me personally, if we get to, I'll say it like this, if we get to the second week of we get to the second week of April and there's no trade, guess what? I'm big on the bandwagon. I got 7 wide receivers on my notepad here that I'm looking into already.
See, I
Now,
don't I don't know if the trade gonna necessarily happen by then. I mean, I just look at the market last year. AJ Brown was supposedly on the block for a while.
right,
That trade didn't happen till draft night. I mean,
right,
Hollywood Brown, same thing. So
right. Well, see, right. So you have a point on that, but my whole thing is that I only feel that Bean would do it ahead of draft night only because I feel like he would want 100% have like his board ready like a week or two before. Like that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. Like I feel like he want to go in a week before the draft and be like, "Yo, this is what we're gonna be focused on. If this goes here, this goes there, we'll move." But I ain't trying to wait till the actual draft night to do it. Now, if he do, that'll create a great buzz. here in
Yeah,
Buffalo and in
I
New York.
feel like I feel like him just based on interviews I've heard him had over the years. Like they go in with so many different contingency plans as is. They can have a D hop board.
Right.
This is what the draft board is going to look like if we make this trade. So like I feel like they could go in their draft night and make that trade and not miss a beat from the rest of the draft board itself. And from an Arizona standpoint, they need to make this trade before the season or before the draft. Because again, you
Let's
don't
do it.
make it by draft. Now you're looking at next year picks.
Yeah.
You're already
Oh, yeah,
missing out on
definitely.
assets this season. So like I think that's that drop deadline point for Arizona.
Yeah,
Like they
for
gotta make
sure.
something happen by then. But
Yeah,
I feel like the longer that time goes on, the less and less leverage Arizona has, which I don't think
oh,
they
for
have
sure.
much to begin with. Like they need to make this happen.
No, I definitely agree with that. I mean, I've said for a while,
They're
or
about to be asked out.
I've said at least since it started being a discussion that Arizona is going to be backed into a corner like sooner or later because it's like, dog, number one, y'all let the news get out that y'all basically got him on the block because y'all
Right.
haven't really come out on
They ain't,
some.
they ain't said a word.
Yeah, they ain't really come out firmly and be like, no, he'll be on the roster next year. And
Yeah, like they did Jerry Judy. No, Jerry gonna be here. We not trading nobody.
right, right. You know what I
Them
mean?
boys like DeAndre who?
Your own quarterback quiet as a mouth. We ain't heard nothing from Kyler Murray since fucking December. So
Man,
like,
that man in rehab, bro. Right on
yeah,
the Call of Duty sticks.
whatever he doing, right? So like that just makes me feel like he's definitely leaving. But the like you said, the longer that they wait, what we gonna be talking about? 2024 draft picks? Like y'all was talking about draft picks from this season. So either,
Exactly.
so either y'all gonna move them ASAP or y'all gonna wait till like you said draft night. Which hey, hey, all BS aside, I'm all for the dramatic shit.
Oh,
So
100%. Like
if boys
think
want to
about
get
it.
spicy,
Yeah, think about it last year, how out the blue the AJ Brown trade take place, and then the Hollywood Brown trade take place. Like it was
right?
like just it took that draft to a new level just from an excitement standpoint. Like, yo, what the hell Tennessee doing?
And also think about what that did to one of those teams, right?
Right.
Like, okay, Philly went ahead and traded for AJ Brown, boom, Super Bowl. And not to say he was the missing piece, but
It was one of them.
Jalen Hurts don't have an MVP type season without AJ Brown. Because I have both of them
Nope.
on fantasy, so I know. He's
Yeah.
not doing that without AJ Brown. So
Look what Tennessee looked like without him.
right. You know what I mean? So that will be interesting if it goes that way. But like I said, I'm still leaning towards it happening at least in the next 7 to 10 days. But if it doesn't, I will keep my eye on that draft situation to see if they do wait till draft night because who don't like a little suspense, man?
So this
Outside of
the
something like that, draft night do be boring. Like
yeah,
especially when you pick where we pick. Like we pick in the 20.
exactly. It was different when we was picking 8, 9,
Yeah,
10, 12 all the time. But when
because
you picking
I remember being
27,
at
it's
your
like, come
crib.
on, bro.
I remember being at your crib when we picked up Ed Oliver.
Right.
We was excited for that top 10 pick. We
You
like, all
making a
right,
pick within the first hour, you good.
yeah, we like, all right, boom, let's go, big Ed. Now that was a
Right.
good night because we thought we don't get me wrong, still love Ed Oliver, but we really thought we hit the jackpot because we was like,
Yeah,
wait,
still
is
a
he
good
about
pick.
to fly?
Like
We was like,
Detroit pick Hawkinson. What?
man, listen, that was a great night because it was like because when you in that situation, you can really feel the excitement of a player really falling in your lap. Like at 27, you might get some
Bro,
fall in your lap, but
top 10 pick, it's like a win-win. Like
yeah,
I'm walking away with supreme talent no matter
right,
where what I'm picking, unless you pick like, I don't know, Josh Rosen or something like that.
right, yeah, which we could have did, but
And
that
but
was
them boys. But like, yo, top 10, you good money, like no matter what. But like in the first round it's kinda anticlimactic at that point.
tough. Yeah, it's a little
Bro,
tough.
but I'm nervous about these receivers in the end of the first round again though, because like there's no guarantee. All it take is one or two teams in the late teens or early 20s to start pick one or two receivers in a row, and then it's a wrap.
Well,
So like,
that's why I feel like it's important that we, when we get into April, which is obviously a few days away, that we start to look at, three of the top positions that we're looking for because if we do our homework, we'll realize, okay, if these 3 or 4 guys ain't there, they gonna be hitting up this linebacker right here, or they gonna be hitting up this D tackle right here, or this tight end right here. Because the way I look at it is, from my quick look, there's about 3 guys who I see as definitely top 20 prospects. Like if they don't go in the top 30, it'd be crazy. So I got about 3 guys in that bunch. After that, those other guys, they can go anywhere from the second and third round. So what that tells me is that if the Bills don't hit on those 3 or 4 guys at 27, they definitely go in defense, in my opinion. And then in the second round, that's when I'll expect them to try to get that second wave of receivers and hope that you can get I mean, who was the last great second round draft pick from the last couple years? We had a couple.
You talking about from the Bills or
In
league?
the NFL overall, like there was a couple good second round.
George Pickens last year, I think he was a second round pick for Pittsburgh.
Okay,
Pickens was a second round pick.
okay,
It's been a handful.
yeah. You can normally get you a solid and think about it. That's what we really asking for is a solid 2 to 3 option who can develop in the
Mhm.
next 2 3 years into a number one. Because that's what I'm looking at. Because everybody, I saw a poll out there that was like, hey, are we looking for this kind of receiver? Are we looking for that? I'm like, yo, I'm looking for all of the above. I need the guy to just have potential. Like he don't have to come in day one and I guess steal snaps from Gabe Davis, but I need to see come training camp, oh, this motherfucker gonna be on the field. Like he might fuck around and get 45, 50 catches this year. He might get them 6 to 8 touchdowns because he just,
I
yeah,
need I need athleticism coming through. I need athleticism in a good frame. Like I feel like we just had such isolated skill sets. Like Diggs is like our only all around receiver.
he
Everybody
the only
else is
three
just a
level guy they
real niche.
yeah, he the only 3 level receiver that they got
Mm,
as of right now. Like I said, can Khalil develop maybe into a 3 level guy? Maybe. But right now he's more of a 2 level guy to me. Like I see him as a intermediate slash down the field kind of guy. He doesn't really give me the vibe as a guy who can beat you off the line and get you 7 yards on a first down, but anywhere from 15 to 30 yards, I feel confident with Shakir as that kind of guy. But
yeah, he's shown glimpses last year of that ability to get up, go up and get that ball too.
right,
Tough
right.
contested catches, stretching the field, but
Run after the catch too. Like he's not
yeah,
no scrub. And that's why I'm trying to balance my expectations even going into the draft and even over the next 4 weeks, because I'm just like, maybe they see something in Shakir that we don't see. Maybe they believe Deontay Hardy will really be that number 3, number 4. And
mhm.
maybe Sherfield will really be that locked in number 4 receiver or whatever the case may be. So I don't know what these coaches thinking. I think we do know enough to know that they are looking for another playmaker because they wouldn't be tied to a D Hop or OBJ if they weren't interested.
Right. Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Right. So that gives me hope. Like, hey, bam, we don't have to land them. If it don't happen, it don't happen. Like I'm not going to have a heart attack like some of these other fans might have, but we're gonna know a lot in the next month. That's all I can say. We're gonna know a whole
Hmm.
lot about this team in the next month. And to me, that's the exciting part. It's like I had my month and a half where I didn't want to talk anything football, but look at the stadium behind you. You look at the fact that they dropping the draft hats, which look pretty nice. I must
Yeah,
say.
them. Hey, listen, this is the best draft hat they done put out
Yeah,
in
I
some
must say, like
years.
last year,
Okay.
I had them cop for me. Shout out to the family, got me one of the draft hats from last year. But I'm looking at these joints now, and I'm like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Might have to add to the collection. I'm like, I don't
Hmm.
need no more Bills gear for real. But it's like,
Right.
but I'm
That
like,
hat is fire though.
okay, I can see a good month coming down with the hat on. Like, welcome to
Yeah,
Buffalo. Uh, thank you.
yeah,
So yeah,
nah, that's fire. So just before after we get off the draft, so I just wanted to touch on just some of the interviews from owners meeting and stuff. Like, you have any thoughts on Coach Big Diddy calling plays on defense?
so I was gonna get into that because we don't really have to talk draft today for real, for real. That's more of an April thing. But um, I must say I am pretty excited from hearing what I heard because I know for one, McDermott is known by people who've worked with him. I think I heard Andy Reid say it as being a very aggressive defensive caller. They say he knows how to work to players' strengths. Sometimes you gotta calm him down. That's pretty much what Andy Reid said. He was like, he can get almost too aggressive as a coordinator. But the one thing I said that we lacked about a month and a half ago was that aggressiveness on defense, especially in the playoffs. So I'm hoping that he can, number one, get the most out of the players that are on the field. Like, obviously play to everybody's strengths, whoever the middle linebacker going to be. Hoping that CB2 is Elam. But I'm really hoping that this isn't just a build up for a letdown, because I really feel like he can add some spice to that defense. Just from a standpoint of just being more aggressive. Like I said, they got guys who
Right.
are dogs on that defensive side. You still got Greg Rousseau. You're going to get Von Miller at least by week 5 or 6, I believe. You still got Matt Milano. You still got Poyer and Hyde coming back with Tre'Davious, with Elam, um, with DeQuan Jones, Tim Settle, and then whoever else they grab. Jordan Phillips, I heard he might be resigning. And shit, we still got to visit. I think I heard from Big Calais Campbell. So I'm excited, but I'm trying to be like cautious with it, because it's like it can be all talk, and then we get to the season and that nigga's still playing Dane Jackson 60%.
Yo, bro.
I ain't gonna let that
Oh,
go.
just come on,
But
man. Don't, you can't
he'll
even
play
say that
dog
right now.
coverage or some shit. So like I'm trying to be cautious with the whole, you know what I mean? But it sounds promising. I'll say that. But how about you?
I feel good about it because again, I mean, this is bread and butter. This is what this how he made his living
Right.
is running defenses and calling defenses. I mean, he's done this for years. So like, and that's no slight to Leslie Frazier because I mean he's great at what he's done as well. But
For sure.
this is what got coach in the places and now. So
Right.
I'm just excited to see what his stamp on this defense looks like. Like I want to see if we're going to see any tweaks, any schematic tweaks. Are we going to see, a little bit of a shift to more press? I mean, like, granted, I mean they're not going to switch the whole press man coverage thing, but are we going to see, these corners come a little closer to the line instead of playing as much off coverage? Granted, I think they were trying to cover up, some deficiencies on the
Right.
back
Right.
end, and the safeties was hurt, and D line wasn't getting pressure. So, I think they were trying to cover up some stuff. But again, I want to see what the differences look like there. Right now, you look at the depth chart, there's a hole at middle linebacker.
Right.
If you roll out what you got on paper right now, what are you going to do to cover that up? I mean, I think right now our D line is a little weak. We don't know exactly when Von's coming back. So we're rolling up
Right.
what? Greg Rousseau and Epinesa? You know, that's not
Bully.
amazing. But how is his coach gonna scheme this up? How are we gonna call plays to over or to compensate for all that? So, I'm excited for that. I want to see what he looks like with
Yeah.
this defense, with
And
with these players.
I think it's a great opportunity too for him to finally maybe get in that coach of the year conversation, because I've always felt like
Yeah, he should have been in there. That ship has sailed though.
it,
You
it
got to
has,
get
but
you got to get that early in the game, or
but
go like
well,
15 to
Andy
1.
Reid has won recently, but I will say this: he can do it by doing a couple things. If they, and I don't want them to have less talent, but if on paper they look like a younger team or whatever you want to call it, let's say Von Miller don't come to week 6, and they're able to still have the number one defense, they're able to still win 13, 14 games, and like you can see a sizable difference in how they attack on defense. I believe he should be back in that top 2 to top 3 category, because that would mean he was able to pick up where his veteran defensive coordinator, you know, left off, and he was able to
Take it to that next level.
take it to the next level. And like you said though, that how he handles some of those positions and get the most out of them is, to me, is going to be the most important thing. How do you handle the D line? Most likely taking a small step back, at least until Vaughn gets in there. And how do you handle the linebackers, which we know no matter what, like it'd be April damn near tomorrow. We know the linebackers are going to take a step back. I don't care. Don't like
It's a
Brian
very
Urlacher not walking out of the
yeah.
fucking
I'll say it's a very high likelihood.
yeah,
Nothing
about
100%, but
about 90% chance that the linebackers will take a step back. Now that doesn't mean that the linebacker is going to be awful,
Hmm.
but Matt Milano can't be in two places at once. So we know we're gonna get from Matt Milano. It's to be seen what Balin, Terrell, Dotson, or whoever may be able to do. Now, I will say I kind of think Balin Spector might be the best pure middle linebacker out of the three. Just from a standpoint of seeing what he did in college, the little bit I saw on tape, and seeing what he did in preseason and training camp. Like, he's a middle linebacker. Like, you don't have to be like, oh, he can play outside, he can do this. No. Balin Spector is a line,
Hey, he's a
a
Mike.
middle.
But I mean, Bean and McDermott's been talking about Bernard, like he can play the mic also. So
We gonna see, man. Listen,
yeah,
I was a big
the
fan of him,
thing is,
but I just didn't think he was a middle linebacker.
yeah, the thing is, these guys are gonna have an opportunity to show what they can do. And if this is the three, well, I'll say the three because I mean it'll be between Spector, Dodson, and Bernard. Those three are gonna have an opportunity. Someone's gonna have a chance to step up and take that job. And it could be a huge role for somebody. If someone can actually take that job and do it sufficiently, again, you're not going to highly doubt you coming at Tremaine Edmonds level right away. But if someone can even be serviceable for a
Right.
year, it can go a long way. Because again, that loosens up some of the money that was been tied up on that defense. So it's a good opportunity for somebody.
Yeah, we gonna see, man. Like I said, we got some time to see between now and the draft if they're gonna add at the linebacker position or if they just gonna wait till the draft, day one or day two. I still expect day one or day two, them to go middle linebacker. But it'd be fun to see because, like I said, either way, they do have quote unquote depth there at linebacker to do a couple things. Like you said, do a three-way battle. Or if they draft a middle linebacker, don't even worry about having what's the name battle there and just have him be the pure backup to Milano. That's what I always thought Bernard would be is a great number three linebacker or a great, great, great backup for Milano if he ever had to go out. Because to me, he kind of brings some of the same things as Milano, which is range, blitzing ability, and a knack for the ball. Because that's what he was known for in college, was just having a knack to pick up loose balls, force fumbles, things like that. So we gonna see. We definitely gonna see on that. Trying to think what else did they speak about in the owners meeting that might have drawn some interest. I guess we could say this because we ain't gonna really touch on the draft today. We're gonna keep it short. Um, Lamar Jackson.
Bro, this don't make sense. It doesn't make sense at this point. The shit that blew my mind today, I think it came out today because I think NFC coaches spoke today, is it was Arthur, what's Arthur Blank? Someone on Atlanta
Mm-hmm.
was saying that the Deshaun Watson situation is completely different than the Lamar Jackson situation. So
Right,
you telling me you are willing to throw everything at a person who is sitting with 21 sexual assault charges, ready to throw money at him left and right, trade assets left and right to get him.
right,
But you have a 26-year-old former MVP with a winning percentage of over 75%,
right,
and you're not even willing to talk to the man. What
right.
sense does that make? Like
Arguably
this
the
this
one.
screams stupidity. So you telling me you willing to ride with Desmond Ritter into the season, and Washington is willing to ride with whoever the hell their quarterback is, and you're not even willing to talk to the man, have a
That
conversation with him.
don't make no sense, man.
It makes none.
Your man Ritter couldn't even throw for it. I know I said this last week. Your man
115. His over under was set at like 108 all season when he
all
started playing.
season. And you saying that you worried about, and I think somebody said something about his style or something
His,
like
his yeah, how his durability and how long he can last. Deshaun Watson had two ACL tears, and again, you were still willing to throw everything at him.
that. And
Like it,
Watson came in last year and played mid. Like he ain't no great. Like it wasn't like he came in last year and was just like
lighting the world on
lighting
fire.
shit
Like
up.
it
Like
just
we knew it was gonna take time for him to adjust, but
this don't pass a sniff test. You cannot sit here and tell me that this is all about his play on the field
it
and
came.
all about his durability. This don't pass the sniff test. We are not stupid. Like yo, come on, bro.
They try and play in people's face, but I'm glad some of the people are calling it out. I need more of the media people who have been in locker rooms or just need some of the media with common sense to just speak up.
Yeah, like yo, this is there's no way you are willing to just let Desmond Ritter take over your franchise when you literally have an opportunity to sign a former MVP who is young
Right.
and the most dynamic player in the league for
And
2 first-round picks.
the division is wide open. So you got a chance for him to compete against
The best
whoever's
quarterback
gonna
in
be
there
in
right now is
Carolina.
Baker Mayfield.
Right. Whoever gonna be in Tampa, whoever gonna be with the Saints.
Baker Mayfield with the Saints. Tampa just signed. No, Baker Mayfield with Tampa. I'm
Tampa.
sorry. Saints. Saints signed somebody.
Winston. They re-signed Winston.
So you rolling with Winston, and Carolina doesn't have a quarterback yet.
Yeah.
So this division is wide open. It just does not make sense to me. If
And
I'm a fan
Atlanta
of
was
Atlanta,
competitive last year. So you could make a case that he can elevate you from what 7, 8 wins to 11 or 12.
you put you put Lamar Jackson on Atlanta's roster right now, you make him one of the favorites in the NFC. You go
Right.
from outside the playoffs to top four right off rip.
Immediately. And tight end's his best friend since he just had Mark Andrews and you got Kyle Pitts.
You got Drake London,
You got what's his name? You got
you got
Cordell.
Cordarrelle
Yeah,
Patterson.
still
Like
got Patterson there.
you
Like,
have options left and right.
and they
But
got a
like
decent run game.
the fact that they's really just trying to play everybody like they stupid.
It's pitiful. And even Washington. Oh no, we're good with going in with Sam Howell or whoever his name is.
Yeah, Sam Howell. That's what it
Bruh,
is.
don't play in my face, bro. Don't.
Listen, my man's record is like 46 and like 15 or something like that. Like in the last 5 years since he's been in the league, I think
Bro, we
outside of
talking about an
Kansas
MVP.
City, he's got the highest winning percentage. Like
He just had MVP just 3 years ago, and they act like we talking about. They act like we
you don't know
talking
how long his style of play. That's because he was stuck playing in a system
with
from the
Greg.
fucking 80s. This
Right,
is fucking run and gun, triple option, pistol
right,
formations.
right. Yeah,
Like,
that has
listen,
nothing to do with him. If you get him under the right offensive coordinator and the right type of staff that knows how to build to his talents. I mean, look what he did at Louisville. He ain't had
yeah,
nobody in Louisville.
yeah, and listen, outside of a Bills, I don't know if I ever wanted a player to succeed as much as I want Lamar to succeed right now. Because like this is some more bullshit.
That's why I would prefer him go to the NFC, just so he can get to the Super Bowl and
Stone
like
all these people. Like this is all about him wanting a. I don't know if you think he ever even said he wanted a fully
I don't
guaranteed
even think he
contract.
did. I
I
don't
don't even
even
think
think
this.
he did.
I don't even think that was ever came out of his mouth. So
Right.
like, oh, this is all about this contract, but like,
Every
it's
time they come out with a report, he normally quotes it like, "When did I say that, nigga? The fuck is
mm,
y'all talking about?
yeah, and this is
Y'all
like,
just trying to run with whatever,
yeah,
whoever
this
y'all sources is,
I
and
need a, bro. I'm at the point I need somebody to file a lawsuit. Like,
damn
yo,
near
this is nuts. Like, this does not make sense. I've seen quarter. I mean, I've seen teams jump through hoops for trash quarterbacks.
bro. We saw
Trash quarterbacks.
right.
Deshaun Watson does not have close the resume of Lamar Jackson.
Nope.
And teams were going left and coming off of 21 sexual assault allegations
Right. He had
and
more
still
injuries.
jump the hoops. And you telling me that this man who has never had a suspension, never had any off the field issues, you can't even have a conversation with the man? Like he's untouchable.
It's real fishy.
Bro, this does not make sense to me. None of this is logical. None of
It
this makes
doesn't make
sense.
any sense because it's not. It's disrespectful, but we know that, and like I said, we could talk for every episode about the same shit. We still rooting for Lamar. This is a pro Lamar podcast. I've seen that guy grow since his rookie year. Came in with Josh, and
Your boys with the Saints, Derek Carr. That's what it is.
oh, you're right. But still, he's better than Derek Carr, so we're in
It
a better.
doesn't. Yeah. Either way, it doesn't change the scenario.
It don't. So like, yeah. I mean, you look at Tennessee's situation. You look at um, the Colts. I even heard the Colts owner or whoever say, "Oh no, we're good." Basically, like I'm like, bro, you got arguably the best running back in the game, and you got talent at receiver, and you mean to tell me, oh nah, we're good? You got one of the best linebackers in all of football, and got all pro secondary guys, and you just telling me you wouldn't want to add an all pro, Pro Bowl quarterback, former MVP quarterback to your mix to make you leapfrog everybody in the AFC South?
Even like Washington. You got talent. You got McLaurin. Like you got talent all over that offense. On that defensive line for Washington is still ridiculous.
Right.
And you are telling me you know what? Fuck that. We're gonna roll with Sam Howell. Let him lead us
Hey,
to the
Sam Howell,
promised land.
we're good, with and that's why I hope all these teams that deny him, I hope they lose. I hope they all miss the playoffs, so we can all sit back and laugh at him and say, "You deny him, you deny him, you didn't want him, you didn't want him, you didn't want him. Now you looking stupid." So it's whatever. That's how I look at it. Like if this is what y'all wanted to do, y'all feel like this was the best way to move forward because y'all all prefer to be whatever y'all doing, then sign one of the faces of the league. Like he's still one of the faces of the league. Like I know they don't want to tap into certain fan bases within the NFL, but there's a certain fan base within the NFL that looks up to Lamar Jackson, whether they like it or not.
And I think players right now are rooting for this. If he
Oh,
is actually going for a guaranteed contract, this is a game changer for players. So like I know they're all on board with what he's trying to do. But
right.
like just owners should not be communicating collectively about how to handle players. That's collusion through and through. This
Big
is
collusion.
from a business standpoint, this is not legal.
Listen, man, fuck them.
Yeah, that's how I feel right now, man.
That's
Fuck
how we
Arthur
gonna
Blank.
keep it. But yeah, before we move on or move forward, I guess, and try to close out because I know we said we was gonna keep it shorter. Was there anything else that you wanted to touch on before we dive into, obviously next episode, the draft conversation? Because I think honestly, this is the episode. This might be the last episode we bring up some free agency type shit, unless we get a splash.
No,
Like I
this I mean, at this point it's gonna be nothing but, tier two, tier three level depth level players. So, I, no, just tighten up some loose ends somewhere
tighten
here
them
and
up.
there.
Like I said, Calais Campbell on the way, possibly for a
That
visit.
would be great. Because again, as of right now, we literally have no defensive tackles on the contract for
Yeah,
next season, not this upcoming season, but the following season. So
right.
we're gonna need defensive tackles. So it wouldn't surprise me if that was a draft pick, but you know, we're gonna need some depth here and there. Jordan Phillips has a visit upcoming supposedly,
Right.
or
So
has already had one.
right.
So, some depth signing there, defensive end depth signing, wouldn't be surprised, but I don't expect any starter level signings at this point. So
And
it's
no
just
more splashes. I don't think. Like I said, being could surprise us all,
yeah,
but
not from a free agent standpoint, in my opinion. This
right.
is this I think this is gonna be roster fill outs.
25 spots. Well,
Yeah.
listen, y'all. We did what we could with this week 3 information. It wasn't too much out there, but we took our swing at it, caught it with y'all. We've been appreciating the people that have reached out, the people who have been looking to collaborate. We're gonna get back to all of y'all. As y'all probably know, me and Z, we are some busy people sometimes, and we're just like most adults where life be lifing.
Hmm.
But overall, man, we appreciate the love and support. We ask that y'all continue to spread the word, let people know what we doing and what we kind of discussing on a week to week basis on some chill shit. And again, man, look at that beautiful picture behind Z if you're watching us, man. That's a beautiful stadium.
Listen, 3 years away, baby. We here.
We here, man. We live, man. So listen, we appreciate y'all, Z. Anything you want to tell them?
No, man. Stay blessed. That's all I got. Be
Yes,
safe
man.
out here.
Be safe out here, man. Hug your people, love your people. And also birthday shout outs to the gang, man. All of my merch babies. My son, his birthday is this week. Big
Hey,
sister, her birthday is this week. I ain't gonna put
hey.
their ages out there, but I will say Ravella be 14. So yeah, man, I'm gonna have a 14-year-old. But anyways, so shout out to the birthdays, the babies. I think I said it last week. Help me out here.
Yeah, my new niece, baby Isabella. Went to go
All right.
see her earlier today, so
Yeah, yeah. So shout out
shout
to all
out
the
to them.
musicians out there, man. All of the beautiful announcements, man. Shout out to those achieving new goals. Everybody on their gym journey. I've been seeing. I mean, I was
Yeah, I need to get up on that gym
Bruh,
journey.
it's so many people though. It's inspiring though. Like I'll get on Instagram and I'll be tapping through stories, and I'm like, everybody either lifting weights or tracking their steps, and I'm just like,
Hell, including your wife, bro.
right, and
She be having
wifey
me
be
ready to
like,
go work out. I'm like, I
yeah,
see
she
you,
be,
Av. I
yeah,
see you.
she be on her shit. So, shout out to the wife and shout out to everybody else that's just trying to get to it, man. Summer is it's taking its time, but summer right around the corner. So, again, y'all, we appreciate y'all for listening. We hope that we can obviously have some more information coming next week. We'll talk about the draft. We'll connect with some of our old friends, and I mean, we'll leave it at that. So, y'all, this is Vel.
It's your boy Cyrus. We'll holler at y'all next week.
Yes, sir. Peace out, y'all.
Have a good one.